everybody. My name is 𝗦𝗢𝗖𝗓, and welcome to episode number 30 of the Clarity Project podcast. It's been a long time since I did a podcast, so in advance, I'd like to say sorry if this is a little rough or that if I'm a little rusty, but it is what it is. Heck, it's not only that it's been a long time since I did a podcast, it's also a long time since I did anything Clarity Project. And this was supposed to be made on June. I've already had the idea for the podcast episode in June, but I didn't get the chance or the time to record this and create this episode. But here we are right now. One thing that you might notice is that the camera might be a little bit different just because we're recording this on a tablet rather than my camera, so that's a little bit different. Just testing this thing out and just doing it as fast as I can before going off to work. So where is work? Work is at a cafe. I've been working there for about 3-4 months now, and the last episode that I did was probably on February, and then it opened I think on March. And so since then, 3-4-5 months, I have not done anything that is remotely close to this. The past few weeks, I've been doing a bunch of videos on Instagram. They're my daily vlogs where I shoot videos of my everyday things that's happening in my life, at least most of them. And I try to edit them as fast as I can. And so that actually the title of that vlog is Videos for When I'm 80. And it's pretty much self-explanatory. It's videos for when I'm 80 years old. And most of those vlogs don't even reach new audiences. Most of those vlogs are not even shared to new audiences, just because when you upload these things, if the video is over 3 minutes long, at least in Instagram, it has a little warning that shows up, that pops up. It says, this video is over 3 minutes long. It means that it's not going to be shown to new audiences, meaning the only people that's going to see it are the people that are already following you. So that hurts in terms of reach, that hurts in terms of views, that hurts in terms of growth. But the thing is, I'm not really looking for growth in terms of those videos. I'm not really looking for followers in terms of those videos. I'm not really looking for views in terms of those videos, because I only have one audience in mind, which is me, myself. The reason why it's called videos for when I'm 80 years old is because they're videos for me when I'm 80 years old. Heck, even just me looking back at the past few weeks, looking at the past few episodes, the past few videos that I did, is already fulfilling, because I was able to recollect, I was able to reflect, I was able to go back to those times, even if I'm not yet 80. So it has that effect already, and it has that benefit already. And really what that was is me trying to reclaim back what I wish I had a few years ago. I wish I did a few years ago. When I started vlogging in 2017, I like to say, it really was coming from a point of trying to be the vloggers that was coming up during at that time. It was me mimicking, it was me idolizing them, it was me trying to do what they're doing. It really didn't come from a place of documentation, of looking back at my life and thinking and seeing whatever it is that they're doing, and see it as a way to capture memories. It wasn't at all like that. For me at that time, it was a time for me to explore a lot of things. Explore how to talk to a camera, explore how to edit, explore how can I do this in a creative fashion. So it was those things, but it was never really the reason. It was never really the reason of me just documenting my life, which at the very core, that's what it was. looking back at my videos, looking back at the vlogs that I did in 2017, and even vlogs that I did in senior high school, 2018, and some in 2019, it really has that purpose. Yes, while at that time, that wasn't the purpose. Yes, while at that time, I was doing it for creative reasons. The effect is that I can reflect back on them, I can look back on them, and I could see them again, and I could watch them again. And in a way, it's me going back in time. In a way, it's me going back in a time machine and then reliving it all over again. Albeit, yes, I must admit, looking back, it's a little cringe. And it's a, it's a little bit embarrassing for a lot of those videos. But the point is, it's not that, it's embarrassing to the point that I should not keep doing it. It's not that it's embarrassing to the point that I should just make them private. No, I don't want to make them private. It's stored away in one of the playlists in my YouTube channel. You might not easily get access to it. You might not easily see it, but it's there. It's open. It's for everybody. And just because I don't want to leave, I hate saying this, but let's just be real, right? I don't want to be that guy who leaves and gets out of this world where all of his work are tucked away in a private kind of folder or in a private account or a dump account that no one has access to. I don't want to archive any of my videos, even though they're embarrassing. I don't want to make private at least most of my videos just because of that reason. I want it to be available for everybody to see. I want my grandkids to see it. I want my kids to see it if I'm going to have them, hopefully. And, these things is literally a way for me to document my whole journey, warts and all, right? The good and the bad, the ugly, it's going to be there. And that's what makes this whole vlog thing so important. I might miss some days, but I will try to record as much videos as possible. I'll try to take a lot of pictures as much as possible. And I encourage each and every one of you to do the same. Take as much videos as you can, take as much photos as you can. Even if you don't upload it, I just suggest that you have it on your gallery. I just suggest that you have it somewhere where you can just look back at them, where you just reflect on them. Because it's been so true for a lot of us, wherein we reflect back on our junior high school days, senior high school days, or even elementary days, or your whatever days, and you wish you had taken more pictures, right? It's still etched in your memory. It's still very fresh in your memory, but with pictures, it has a different kind of nostalgia to it. It has a different kind of an effect to it. And so I just don't want to be that guy who reflects and looks back, oh, I don't have that much pictures to show you. And we are very lucky that we are born in a generation where pictures are abundant and taking them is so easy. Because back then, what you had to do was get to a photo studio or get somebody who has a camera and then have that develop in a photo lab or somewhere. And that's how you're going to get a picture. But now you could just take them with your phone. I'm not suggesting that any more than that. It's just that you should be more aware that time is passing, and it might be smart to think that in the future you might want to look back on these days, because of the same reason. Time is ticking and we don't have forever, and we might want to look back on that time, not only for reminiscing but also seeing how much we have grown. And that's the thing too with cringing. If you're cringing with your past videos or your past photos, that means you have grown, right? The reason for the cringe is because you're finding something at fault. You're finding something that is not as good as it is now. So that means cringe is actually a good thing. Cringe means that you have grown. Cringe means that you have developed, which is again a good thing. Going back to what I was saying about this episode was supposed to be shot on June. The whole idea for that was I wanted to create an episode for the mid-year, which is June. And what that really was is supposed to be, it was supposed to be a reminder of this is a whole half a year has passed. That's it. That half a year has passed, and then we are halfway through the year. And the remaining 6 months is going to determine the 2025. And at that moment, I wanted to keep tabs on all of you, and I wanted to just ask around on how your day and how your year is so far. Has it been so good? Has it been bad? Has it been neutral? Are you behind your goals? Are you way past them? Where are you in terms of where you wanted to be during New Year's Eve when you had your New Year's resolution? You might say, Carl, I didn't have a New Year's resolution. Really, it was all murky. I really didn't believe in them anymore. But regardless, it is supposed to be a means of self-assessment on where you are in terms of where you want to be in life. And it is during those times, in June, the half of the year, there are a lot of times all throughout the whole year where you get to reflect on the years passing. One of them, again, is June, which is half of the year, so you get reflective during those times. But it's also true for other dates that have the same effect, that reminds us that the year or a year has passed. So one big example is your birthday. Each year during your birthday, you're reminded that a year has passed. You might look back at your previous birthday and say, wow, it's been a long time since then, and yet it also feels like it was yesterday. So every year on your birthday, you get reflective and you look at your birthday and you say that whether you are good, better last year, or you were worse last year, right? And it's also true for other dates such as maybe Halloween, right? It's one of those days, All Saints Day, All Souls Day, just because it's such an event. And then of course Christmas. Every Christmas you look back and you think that wow, a year has passed. Now the question is, am I closer or am I farther from my goals? Am I closer or farther from my dreams? And then of course, let's not forget New Year. Whether that be the last day of the year, December 31, or that be the first day of the year, January 1st, we are always reminded of the passing of the year. Because if you think about it, each year, I don't know the full science to this, but one could assume that for the whole year, we have traveled through the galaxy, through this rock called Earth, and we are circling the sun. And by a year, right, a year's passing means that we're exactly at the same spot. Maybe not the exact, again, I don't know the full science to this, but we are relatively at the same spot as where we were in the universe. Not just in our life, not just in the date, in the calendar, but where we are in the universe. And that is Earth's position relative to the sun. And if you think about it in that way, it opens up worlds, it opens up avenues, it opens up ideas on how much things have changed throughout the year. because you could look at the year in terms of moments. You could look at the years in terms of the things that's happened, in terms of events, in terms of dates. But if you think about the year in terms of the Earth's relative position to the sun, if we zoom out a little bit, that's when we will realize how much farther we have come, or how much things have actually happened for the Earth to be in this place and to navigate all the way to the sun and back to that position. What are the things that you have done during that time? What are the things that you are trying to do during at that time? During my stay at the shop, there's this idea that I did, which is putting up notes on each drink of the customer's drink for the cafe. And while I was doing the notes myself, sometimes I get to search some of the notes, but I try to keep them as original as possible. But one of those notes said, the version of you trying is better than the version of you not doing anything. Let that sink in for a moment. The version of you trying is better than the version of you not doing anything. And so, for the passing of time, every time that we are reminded the year has passed, whatever that date is, your birthday, it's half of the year, it's January 1st, it's December 31st, it's Christmas, whatever that date is, I want you to be reminded, and I want you to be more aware of what are the things that you are doing. Right? What are the things that you are doing? And are those things good, or are those things bad? Do those things make you closer to your goal, or do those things make you farther from your goal? Are you happier now than when you were last year, or are you sadder, or are you lack clarity now than when you were where you were last year? Now that's a tricky question. Actually, that's an unfair question, because right now you might feel like you're super great, you're better off than where you were last year. But something can happen in a few minutes, a few hours, or maybe just tomorrow, and would totally dismantle and would totally disrupt your view of how good the year is so far. Or it could be that this is the worst week in your life that's happening right now. This is the worst month that you've had all throughout the year, and probably for the first half of the year it was been so good, but this month it feels so heavy, or that this month this is your worst month, right? And so just because this month is bad, just because this day is bad, that might skew the whole perspective, your whole perspective, in terms of how good the year actually has been for you. So you also have to put that into account, that a bad day, a bad week, or a bad month does not reflect the whole, right? It is part of the whole, but it does not reflect the whole as a whole. So, how many holes can you say, Carl? Anyway, so that's just a little bit of what I've been doing so far, and that's a little bit of what I've been trying to do with my life so far. And I've been doing a lot of cafe stuff, right? Barista stuff. And one of the things that I learned throughout this whole this few months is that you could really put things, you could really train for things, that you could really learn things. For example, I didn't know anything about being a barista when I started as a barista. The first time that I handled a coffee machine, the first time that I held a portafilter, which is like the hand, it's really difficult to explain. It's like the handle you put your espresso, the coffee grounds in, and then you where you pull the espresso shot. Anyway, that's for another video, I think. But the first time that I held that was on March 9 or 10, and then we opened at March 14. But my growth as a barista, while I'm not an expert at it, while I'm not a pro at it, while I'm not super great at it, my growth from that first day that I held the portafilter in terms of today, I'm happy with, right? I can live with. And I'm really happy of how much I've grown, how many things that I have, how much things that I've learned throughout the months. And I'm still optimistic about the growth that's coming. And I'm still optimistic about the things that I can do in the future. In terms of latte art, I really enjoy it. I just so wish that milk is not so expensive, and that's why I can't practice it often. I often practice with just dish soap. The OGs know this. And then bad shots of espresso, I practice with them. And then there's also like food coloring, but it's not really the same as when you would practice with an espresso shot and a milk. So I just wish that I could practice it more, but it is what it is, right? We don't want any spillage, we don't want any wastage. So that's what it is. But in terms of growth, we're getting there, right? Right now I'm in the moment where I'm a little bit good, or at least I've kind of mastered how to do the heart, like the simple heart. So no problem with that. The tulip, I'm still struggling with, but it's getting there. The stack tulip. And then the wiggle heart is also another thing. I'm also getting there. And this past 2 weeks, I've actually done my first swan. Actually, it's the first time that I tried to do it. It doesn't really look like the standard swan, but it's getting there. And so, I'm really just excited about these few things. And there's a lot of things going on around coffee in general. I've learned about the different beans. I've learned about, how to make a good shot, extraction time, dosage, grind size, all of these things that I didn't know anything when I started. But now it's just supposed to be second nature to me right now. So it's crazy. It's crazy. If you try and look and stalk me on my feed, you would see like this super crazy pattern where there's going to be a chunk of history, a chunk of posts, and then that is going to be uniform, and then it's going to change dramatically, and there's going to be a new set of posts, and then there's going to be a new set of posts, a new set of posts. It's so crazy because I think now you could see that my feed is all about coffee, but if you scroll a little bit, then it's going to be about like my vlog, and then it's going to be about the Clarity Project, and it's going to be about the podcast, and it's going to be about the posts that I do with the podcast. It's the Instagram carousels, and then it's going to be a little bit of slice of life. It's going to be just some of my photos. It's crazy how much things have changed, and how much things that I'm still trying to do, that I'm still doing. So yeah, in a way, that's also reflective. Maybe you could look back on your social media accounts. You could look back on your grid and your posts. And if you're somebody who's archiving your posts, that's your choice. But just know that, if you archive them and there's no way for you to recover your account, and there's no somebody to recover your account, then that's gone forever. So I don't know. Why would you post something if you feel like you don't want to post it in the first place? So if you posted it, I suggest you don't archive it. Even if it's humiliating right now, even if you're trying to hide it from somebody, who cares, right? It's your social media account. I mean, if you want to show it, show it. But then again, archiving something just because, some people might find it, bad, or some people might find it funny or not that good, is crazy thing. So I guess it's also a challenge, and I understand the challenge between that, confidence. It's also about your anxiety towards what other people would say. There's a lot of layers to that, and there's also probably a corporate aspect to it. Maybe you're trying to find a job, you don't want your employees to see it. So yeah, maybe that's a valid reason. But anything, any more than that, I don't think you should be on private on social media, unless you only want certain people to see it, and that they also have access to that account anytime. Anyway, I'm looking at the clock right now. It says about 25 minutes. I know that I'm gonna cut this up, so it might come around to about 20 minutes or maybe even less, depending on how many things I'm saying, where the things that see, including that. I might cut that out, including the things that I'm saying where I'm rambling and I'm not making sense anymore. Then again, I did say that I did a disclaimer wherein I'm going to be really rusty about this, and this is going to be a little rough just because it's been months since I did anything like this. Anyway, I guess that's episode 30. I know it's not super great, it's not super awesome. It's just me talking to you, you know, at this background. We're not outside, we're not doing anything. But fits my schedule, and this is the only way where I can do episode number 30. I know 30 seems to be a significant number. I don't know what it is about those numbers like 10, 15, 25, 30, 35. Those numbers always seems to be like very significant numbers, and you might feel like, oh, episode 30 is supposed to be this grand episode. Well, what's grander than a comeback, guys? What's grander than this, doing it again? Just because, we have to keep doing this. Even though I don't have that much time anymore, I know that I have to keep doing this. So anyway, that's the episode. So if you watch this as a whole, or you watch this in snippets, I'd like to be able to thank you, and I'll see you again on the next one. And by the way, I forgot my intro. Take care. Bye-bye. That's it. I don't know. I forgot. What do you want from me?